In February, PBS SoCal will broadcast the documentary Makers, Women Who Make America. Leading up to that program, Real Orange is telling the remarkable stories of Orange County women who make an impact on all of our lives. With 34 miles of coastline in Orange County alone, no area has been more hotly debated than the future of Crystal Cove. Our next guest has been called an accidental activist who went from fighting for her right to live in the historic cottages to restoring them and saving the beach from further development. We welcome the founder and director of external affairs for the Crystal Cove Alliance, Laura Davick. We're glad to have you with us, Laura.
Great to be here.
Always good to have you on.
Thank you.
I like the term accidental activist. Is that something that you see, that you identify with?
You know, actually there was a recent radio story written and they called me this accidental activist, and I thought, you know, it's kind of appropriate.
Yeah.
Well, considering one day you were simply enjoying the legacy of your family at the Cove, and the next minute you're standing up for it and trying to preserve it.
Right. Well, I went from real estate development to real estate preservation.
Tell us how that works.
Anyway, you know, it's been an amazing journey going through the last 13 years. But I started the organization, you know, to try and stop the luxury resort contract down at Crystal Cove. So I just thought it was a bad idea. So it's come a long way, baby. Now, I don't know if you've been down there recently, but there's just so many great things happening down there. So.
What are some of those things for folks who may not know?
Well, you know, we wear a lot of different hats down there. You know, our footprint has expanded from the historic district to the entire park now. So it's all 3.2 miles of coastline that we're working on, 2,400 acres in the backcountry and 1,100 acres in the underwater park. So it's all of Crystal Cove State Park. And so we do everything from renting the overnight rentals, managing that. We work with state parks on developing really innovative education and conservation programs. And we're very actively involved in raising funds and looking for financial solutions to complete the project.
What is the completion going to look like to you?
Well, we have one last phase to do, and we've completed the second phase about a year ago. So we Crystal Cove Alliance raised $7 million through that effort, and that's been completed. So one last phase, $20 million. And so it's a big project, but we're very excited about it. We've had some early response towards it. So.
Everybody loves those cottages. We're seeing some video right now of some of the things that you guys have down there. The cottages are for rent.
Yes, they are. They're for rent, and you know, but I always like to tell people, you know, really people think of Crystal Cove now, they think of the beach rentals, the overnight rentals, and they think of the Beachcomber, that little fabulous restaurant that's on the beach. But that is really just kind of the beginning of what's going on down there and kind of the tip of the iceberg.
But if you hadn't been involved, it would have been something else entirely different. And that's the thing, the train had left the station and you stopped it and reeled it back, right?
Yeah, the train had left the station, and yes, it's been an interesting.
What would it have been otherwise?
It was slated to become a hotel, or what?
Yeah, it was slated to become a luxury resort with 3 swimming pools, valet parking, a 100-seat restaurant on the bluff top, and the rates then, back in 2001, were to be $375 to $700 a night.
But all of the property we're talking about preserving would have been razed.
Well, not so much raised. What they were going to do is they were going to convert. They were going to utilize the existing structures and take the 46 and convert them to 73 by putting in additional units underneath and sideways and you know, subdividing, if you will. But it never would have been the same. And you know, I'm very proud to say that Crystal Cove in 2007 received the Governor's Award for Historic Preservation. So it's about the real deal, being authentic, and about restoring that back to 1935 to 1955.
It is authentic. For anyone who hasn't been down there, you just got to go walk along and see what you can see. It's just beautiful.
And you know, I'll just mention that the month of December, if you haven't been down, go down and see it now, because it's all lit up with Christmas decorations and vintage decor. So.
Before we let you go, you've done a number of things down there that are historical, you're leaving your mark. But the public-private partnership that the Alliance has is definitely something that people look at and try and use as a blueprint for their own thing. Explain a little bit about that.
Well, you know, it is a model for state parks. It's a model for sustainability, and part of that is because the way the revenue is generated and the way that the revenue stays in the park to help fund that park. So it is a model. It's kind of a complicated model to explain in a short amount of time, but all I can say is we were the first nonprofit in the history of state parks to be awarded a concession contract, which is our big management contract we have. And now I think, perhaps there will be more of this that you will see, more management by nonprofit organizations. So it's a very interesting model for sustainability. And once we have completed the rest of the cottages and restored the rest of the cottages, the project will be 100% self-sustaining. And I think that you can't say that about a lot of places.
No, you cannot.
But you know what I would like to say? Do I have a minute to just say?
Very briefly, yeah.
Very briefly. If you want to learn more about Crystal Cove, first come down and see it. Second, I do a tour the second Saturday of every month, and it's in-depth, and we take you on the backside of showing you everything that's going on. And lastly, come join us, become a member.
Yeah.
We'd love to have you.
Okay, we got your website up for folks who want to get more information and become a member of the Crystal Cove Alliance. Thank you so much, Laura.
Oh, thank you.
Always good to have
really
you on.
delighted. Thank you.